Hello again, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about the salivary glands. The first, the serous salivary gland, which is seen in parotid gland. As these salivary glands are the major salivary glands, they will be covered by a capsule which is nothing but a dense connective tissue. The connective tissue sends septas, the fibers below, and divides the salivary glands into compartments. The bigger one are called the lobes and the smaller one are called the lobules. So the septa separates the lobes, complete gland into lobes and lobules. We'll see interlobular duct, the epithelium of which varies from tall columna to stratified columna, very close to the excretory duct. It depends on the size of the duct. So interlobular ducts are seen in the septas which separates the lobules. And also you see the major blood vessels which supplies the gland. So the basic architecture of the salivary gland is same in all the three structures. The difference is only in the type of acini seen. So the fibrous tissue forms the stroma and the acinar tissue forms the parenchyma of the gland. So here is a serous salivary gland. So we have to write serous acini. Serous acini is more circular like acinus, alveoli. So make sure you write the round circles for the outline of the acini, and in between you have to write lot of duct. Serous salivary gland has lot of duct. Intralobular duct means within the lobules we can see two varieties of duct. The smaller one which drains the secretion from the acini is called the intercalated duct, which is a cuboidal epithelium with a round nuclei. Little bigger ducts are called the striated duct because they show striations. These striations are mainly because of basal infolding of the cell membrane. So towards the basal side they show striations. You have to show striations with a eosinophilic pencil, as this folding of the membrane is eosinophilic. Okay. The striated duct epithelium can be a cuboidal to columnar depending on the size of the duct. So make sure you write the intercalated very small with cuboidal epithelium and striated duct. These two constitute the intralobular duct. Now coming to writing the acini. The serous acini, as I told you, it is like circle you have to draw, and each cells are pyramidal in shape. Pyramid you might have seen, they have a broad base and narrow apex. The lumen is very small. All are pyramidal cells with a narrow lumen. They have a centrally placed round nucleus. The basal side is basophilic. This is mainly because the secretions secreted by these acinas are protein rich. To synthesize more protein, you need more ribosomal RNAs. So there are number of ribosomes are more, which is more towards the basal side. So ribosomes are basophilic. That's why the base of the cells looks basophilic. Whereas the secretory product are aggregated in the granules which come towards the apex of the cell so that it can secrete into the lumen. These secretory granules are the azurophilic granules. So they are eosinophilic. So the acini show biphasic staining. Biphasic means two phases. The basal side basophilic, apical side eosinophilic with a round nucleus. You can neatly notice a round nucleus in all the serous acini. When you see in the slide, there will be colorful and dark staining. The cytoplasm will be dark. When you are drawing the basophilic and eosinophilic, make sure you use a blunt pencil. The acini secrete into the intercalated duct, which modify the secretion by secreting bicarbonate and absorbing the chloride. Then the striated ducts also modify the secretion by secreting the potassium and bicarbonate and absorbing the sodium. As these ducts have a major role in modifying the secretions, they are more in number in serous salivary gland. Now coming to the mucous salivary gland, the basic architecture is the same. The major salivary glands are surrounded by a capsule. Example here is sublingual salivary gland. The capsule will send septa, which divides the gland into lobes and lobules. So the interlobular ducts and the major blood vessels are seen in these septa. So interlobular duct can be a single columnar epithelium, or it can be a stratified cuboidal to stratified columnar depending on size of the duct. Ultimately, the final excretory duct will be stratified columnar. Keep the nucleus flat endothelium for the blood vessels and few nucleus for the fibroblast for the connective tissue. So mucous salivary gland, as we know, the acini is different. We have to draw mucous acini. Mucous acini are a little tubular and varying in shape and size. Whereas serous was circular, no? Here they are very different in shape and size and little bigger compared to serous acini. And make sure you draw the intralobular duct, that is the intercalated and striated duct. The number can be less. Here these ducts doesn't modify any secretions. So just function in transmitting the secretion secreted by the mucous acini. So that the intralobular ducts are less in number. Then coming to each mucous acini, the shape is larger and of tubular or oval in shape, not circular. The cells are cylindrical in shape. Cylinder, you have seen there is a broad apical part. So base is also broad, apical part is also broad. They will be filled with mucinogen granules because they secrete a granule which is rich in mucin, that's a glycogen. So during staining procedure it will be lost. These granules will push the nucleus towards the base. So when the round part is pushed, it will become flat, no? So the nucleus will be flat and towards the base of a cell. And the cytoplasm is little basophilic because of its secretions. So in the microscope, when you see, they'll be looking empty, round. Make sure you identify the flat nucleus. And use a blunt pencil or a lantha pencil and shade the cytoplasm of each cell basophilic. So in the mucous acini, you can also find some serous acini also. So when it is not completely mucinous. So you can write 1 or 2 serous acini also in case of mucous salivary gland. Now coming to the mixed salivary gland. The example is the submandibular salivary gland. The architecture is the same. It is covered by a capsule. The capsule will send septa which divides into lobes and lobules, and these septa will contain interlobular ducts and also the bigger capillaries. Interlobular, between the lobules, interlobular duct and also the blood vessels. As it is a mixed salivary gland, we have to write both serous and mucous acini. But the number of serous acini will be more. You might have confused this slide with a serous salivary gland. You should see carefully and identify the mucous acini and demilunes. The serous demilunes are the key thing in the mixed salivary gland. So serous are the circular acini, mucus are the little varying shape of wide oval or little bigger acini are the mucus one. Serous are circular, and you also have to write intralobular duct, the intercalated and striated duct. Don't forget to draw intralobular duct. So intralobular duct, interlobular duct. Those are duct system. And you have to write mucous acini and serous acini. Serous should be more, and you have to write demilunes. Serous demilunes in the mixed salivary gland. So I'm writing the first serous acini, which I should explain you, pyramidal cells with round nucleus and biphasic staining. I hope my videos are helpful for you. So if you like it, please comment and tell how it is helpful, or if you want to improve in anything, please suggest. So like the video, give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Now after the serous acini, you can write some mucus acini with cylinder cells and the flat nucleus. Serous demilunes. Demi means half, lune means moon. So half moon shaped serous cells are present over the mucus acini. That's why they are called serous demilunes. Okay, half moon shaped serous cells. So in 1 or 2 mucus acini, make a cap of serous cells that shows the serous demilunes. Half moon with a few serous cells, round nucleus and biphasic staining. You can nicely see the dark staining cells capping on the mucus acini. You carefully observe the mucous salivary gland. Sometimes in the exam they'll ask you to differentiate between serous and mucus acini. You have to know the properly how to write. So we discussed it already, but once again we'll refer. The serous acini, make sure it is round because it's round acinar shape. The outline is round with a round nucleus towards narrow lumen, pyramidal cells, basal basophilic and apical eosinophilic. Usually it will be surrounded by myoepithelial cells. These are the cells which has a contractile property and helps in secretion of the squeezing the secretion into the ducts. They will be present between the basement membrane and the basal part of cell membrane of these acinar cells. They will be present in all acini, mucus, serous, demilunes, everywhere. So coming to the demilunes, demilunes are like an artifact during preparation. They have studied that if they have done a freeze technique, they will find acini which contains both serous and mucus cells in one acinus. But when they do the H&E staining, due to a preparation artifact, the mucus cells will swell up, so pushing the serous cells towards the top, forming the demilunes. But these serous cells will secrete their secretions into the same lumen because they have a small cytoplasmic canaliculi. So small cytoplasmic canaliculi through which the secretions of these serous cells will enter the lumen here. So it is a preparation artifact. Thank you for watching.